What's up, Miami? We seem to be running on Miami time. I have a few guests I want to introduce, but I apologize for the tardiness. This is the first episode of Fast Break. I'm going to go real quick. We have the father of the network. That looks like Grandpa Bobby today. Bobby Melendez, my brother. Love you.
The father.
We got Buzz from, well, you can follow him on Buzz on Tap. He's the host of Bulls on Tap on the OnStat Sports Network. Thank you so much for joining us, buddy.
Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it. I'm going to have a beer with you guys and talk some ball, you know?
There we go. Boom. And last but not least, my man, the Hebrew Hammer, Michael Brown. Thank you for also the host of the Dream Take for the SB Nations, the Dream Shape. Thank you for being on, buddy.
Of course. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, man. Always a pleasure. And we took a little bit long, so I'm going to go right into the season. I'm excited. Bobby, obviously, I'm very appreciative first and foremost. That's why I want to have him on. Bobby is the creator of all this. He's the one that has allowed us to have a platform and to come out. And I know he reached out to me a long time ago because he knows how much I love basketball. I coach basketball, played basketball my whole life. And this is kind of like a baby project for us. And this is very special for me. And I love that I'm able to enjoy and share it with people from all across the world. We got Rockets experience here. We got Bulls experience. And obviously, we got the Heat culture here. So I just want to give the floor, first and foremost, Buzz. What is your outlook? You can talk about the whole NBA, but in your aspect, the Bulls right now, what are you looking forward to this season, man?
I guess, man, just kind of building off of last year, you had that really hard time after Lonzo Ball went down. After 35 games last season, he really proved to be the driving factor of what that team was trying to do. Getting out in the break, getting out in transition, making things happen, shooting career high, I think it's like 7 3-pointers a game, hitting 42% of them last year. When he goes down, and I know it's so crazy because it doesn't scream superstar to you, but the engine that drove that Bulls engine went away. They were top 10 in offensive and defensive efficiency last year while he was playing consistently. After he went down in January with that knee injury that was supposed to be initially a 68-week absence, after the meniscus surgery was completed, it turned out to be we're still going through it, guys. I mean, we're still going through it. He just got surgery last week. LeVar, which I know grain of salt type stuff, you can only take so much of what he says, but said that he had bone fragments that were hitting nerves in his knee, causing him that pain. So he was out. I have the Bulls in the play-in this year, and I'm a Bulls fan. I'm a Bulls fan first and foremost, but I'm also like, I can be a homer too. Like we start talking, like you give me a Piston fan, I'll tell them they suck all day long. You know, no. But you know, it's I got them in the play-in this year. They didn't make too many changes outside of bringing in Goran Dragic and Andre Drummond, which hey, we needed some rebounding, so bringing in Drummond's huge, but you can't play him and Nikola Vucevic together, guys. So, you know, they're going to have to really kind of figure that out. And then you got a veteran guard who's just kind of came in Goran Dragic to kind of take away the absence of Lonzo Ball for a little bit, while Ayo Dosunmu has the starting reins at point guard position. So, you know, I've got them at 7th seed right now. Obviously, it's before the season starts. Things can change between now and then. They finished as a 6th seed last year after leading much of the first half of the season, leading the Eastern Conference. So I got them 7th seed slated for right now. Who knows what happens if and when Ball does return. So that's where I'm at right now with at least the Bulls portion of things.
And I'll circle back to you because there's an interesting part as the season goes on. But I'm going to ask Mike because Mike's a different spectrum right now. You're kind of I'm not going to say this is your peak team, but this is probably as high as the Bulls will go with the current roster. Mike, on the other hand, you have a young roster, Mike. I know you've endured some long years, some Harden drama, some Westbrook drama, and you have a young roster. What excites you the most? What do you feel actually comes out of this roster this year, let's say?
I mean, it's a loaded question, man, because what do I want to come out of this? I want to win. I'm fucking tired of losing games. Like, that's what I'm honestly tired of, watching is, and Coach Silas said it himself this week, that they're not trying to actively lose games this year, giving reference to fans that they were trying to lose games last year, which, like, I don't understand because sports is pretty simple. You put together teams to win games unless you're not, and then asking your fans to go buy tickets and memorabilia and beer and hot dogs and all that stuff. So I went to one game last year because I'm not going to support a team that does that. Now, with all that being said, you look at this year, Kevin Porter Jr. signs an extension today that it's a 4-year, $82 million extension, but it's really not a full extension, right? It's it starts after this season that he's locked in for $15.6 million, but then they can let him go after that directly and say, okay, we're no longer on the hook. Then you've got Jalen Green at the 2, who I think is a star. Do I think he's a superstar? Not yet, but I think he's on the verge. You got Tari Eason, who they drafted out of LSU, who I think is going to be a fringe All-NBA rookie first team this year. I love everything about his game. You look at Ty Washington, who they drafted out of Kentucky. Love him at the backup point guard role. Playmaker, is not going to do anything that wows you. But then you have guys like Josh Christopher out of Arizona State. Think of Lou Williams, the Diet Coke version of Lou Williams. You got Alperen Şengün. You got Jabari Smith, who they drafted out of Auburn, who I absolutely love. 3-and-D, can guard 1 through 5. Can they put it together? Is Stephen Silas the right head coach for this team? In my opinion, no. I don't think he makes it beyond the All-Star break. I think they'll replace him with Lionel Hollins by that point. I think this is a 24-27 win team, which is not good because it's all about Victor Wembanyama or Scoot Henderson. Those are the 2 guys, if you're Rockets fans, that the last 2 years you endure all of this losing for those 2 guys. You look at teams like Utah, Oklahoma City, those teams are going to be really bad. But the Rockets over the last 2 years have been the worst team record-wise by 8 games. The last 2 years, the Rockets have not come out of the NBA draft lottery with the number 1 pick. So worst record has meant nothing the last 2 years. Can the Rockets hit that Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes or Scoot Henderson sweepstakes and make the last 2 years worth it? Because if they do, the Rockets are a team to watch the next 3 years. I might be dead by the time that they're good, but in all honesty, maybe we'll see. But that's a long-winded way of saying we're probably going to suck this year, but maybe we're a little bit more entertaining this year for fans out there.
Yeah, I got to imagine, though. I just want to say very quick, Alex. I mean, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith. I don't know how to say his last name. I'm not going to butcher it. If you say it one more time, Mike.
The big, tall white guy, Alperen Şengün.
I mean, but those 3 guys or Scoot, I mean, the Rockets could be a very dangerous young team if they get that guy in. I mean, I get the point for this year though. But Alex, I'm gonna turn it around on you though. Yeah, you got the Heat hat on. Of course, I'm a diehard Heat fan, but this is you. I'm gonna let you do it. This year, the Heat, they don't. Everybody thought the Heat were gonna make some big move to improve. They lost PJ Tucker. You had the whole Kevin Durant scenario when Durant demanded a trade, and then were they gonna get Kyrie? They didn't do anything. They drafted a player in Jovic who's looked really good in preseason. He's looked like he's been a hit. They're talking about Caleb Martin, who's looked good at the 4. This team, a lot of people have the Heat, who went number 1 in the East last year. They have them being a play-in this year. A lot of experts. How are you feeling about this Heat team this year and the roster they have going in?
First and foremost, what I'm going to talk about these experts. I don't know really what these experts are on because the same thing that we saw last year, talent-wise, there's a change in the aspect of PJ Tucker, and it was, for those that watch the Goon Squad and our original Goonies, a shout out to Juan, Neil, and Clutch. Clutch will be with me probably every Wednesday. We would have heated arguments about what the Heat have to do. Oh, the Heat have to make a move. And Bobby and me talked about it forever. The only reason you were in the sweepstakes for Durant and Mitchell is obviously because you didn't hard crap yourself and that they became available. The plan was never for them to be available. The due diligence that they were going to do this offseason was Heroes extension and the growth from within. And we kept on, and I remember I kept saying about this. I'm like, look, we got a possible rotational piece in Omer. Could he start? Could he come off? I believe he's going to be a rotational player. Once his ankle heals, Demon is going to play his role, and Omer's going to step into the Demon role, which is your 5 off the bench. Then you drafted Jovic. So at the time we drafted Jovic, Bobby was the one that brought it the attention to us, and I started watching tape on him, and over and over and over. I'm like, Bob, this guy's a natural scorer. Oh, you're welcome. I always give you credit. Like he was a 2. He had a growth spurt of like 8 inches. So now he's a 2 playing the 4. And I'm like, and it's funny because that's kind of like the evolution of the NBA. You're kind of see the Giannis mold, but overall ball handlers, shooting, they're gonna have the 3-and-Ds, but elongated. It's like monsters. And I tell them, like, the reason people kept asking me about, what the Heat, they haven't made anything. Pat Riley sleeping, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, guys, this is going to be an organic improvement from within. It's a recalibration of your offense. And I would say out of all the teams that Spo has had, this is probably the most versatile, the most offensively talented team, where he has all spots covered. You can play in any which shape or form. You have probably Caleb at the 4. You have obviously Jimmy, Hero. He's going to explode this year because first and foremost, you have the attention of Butler, Bam. This team offensively will go as far as Bam and Hero will take them. People talk a lot about Jimmy. Jimmy's scoring is going to take a dip, and his efficiency is going to rise because he's no longer needs to carry a team for the whole season or into the postseason. A lot of people are counting on Vic. I want to see Vic. The one thing that concerns me about Vic is you got to give him a few weeks to get in the offensive flow. Defensively, you can always count on him. I don't know if it was preseason, he had it toned down a little bit. You already know what you got in Vincent. You know what you got in Strus. They're going to possibly play Strus and Robinson combos off the bench with Omer. And then quite possibly, Bobby knows I've always been with 10 deep. I believe Spo should always play 10 deep. You keep your guys fresh. You have a cohesive unit. What I love about this team is it doesn't really matter who starts and who finishes. What I love is the substitution patterns that Spo implements. Who comes in, who comes out, who plays with them during stretches. And the one thing that I would say, my prediction, I believe Spo might go to 11-man rotation with Jovic being the 11th man. Oh, wow. Because when Jovic is your 11th man, he's starting. He's basically your starting 4. So before you substitute Martin back in, you have Jovic playing for a period of time with the Bam, with the Butler, with Hero, with Lowry. And you kind of see where that goes. Is a natural fit. Is he young? Yes. Do I think he's battle-tested? Where he played in Europe, he played against grown men. He was 16 years old, 17 years old, playing against grown men. So do I believe Spo is ballsy enough with this roster to throw him in there at times? Yeah. And with injuries, you have rest days. So you're going to see a flow of that.
Let me ask you, Alex, I'm going to stick with you, and then I'll have one of the guys. Let's go with Buzz. I'll have Buzz respond right after. And I'm sorry, I'm taking over a little bit, but that's okay. But
Alex, okay, man. I'll let you play.
It's free flowing, man. It's free flowing.
Free flowing.
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah. So let's do this. You heard Buzz's assessment on the Bulls, and then what's your thoughts on the Bulls? They are in the Eastern Conference as well. They're a playoff team, possibly, right? Yes. What are your thoughts on the Bulls? And then, give those thoughts. And then Buzz, you could respond and then give your thoughts on the Rockets this year. And then, Mike can respond.
I want to show you. This is Bob from our show on 22, 922. Yes. I have, let me see if you can see it here.
Yeah.
I have, wrong one. Sorry. I have the Bulls.
With 9.
Number 9. And so that way, you didn't think I was piggybacking or anything. That's, I believe this Bulls team as constructed has peaked above. You're not going to get higher than a 5th or a 6th seed because obviously you can have catastrophic injuries to all the teams, but you got the Sixers, you got the Bucks, you got the Heat, you got the Nets. I believe even the Cavaliers are ahead of the Bulls this year, especially the number one component is Lonzo Ball. When you don't have Lonzo Ball, I understand you got LaVine, super athletic in his prime. DeRozan, one thing that was intrigued me, and I'll actually feed it off to you, Buzz, in that. I believe they might entertain possibly trading DeRozan if this season goes down the drain. Do you see a scenario where DeRozan is kind of involved in the trade talks or moved, or Vucevic? Because then he's up for an extension. How is it in Chicago? How are people feeling about that?
See, that's really funny you bring that up. So Vooch just bought a $4.5 million house. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what that has anything to do with anything. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But, when Jimmy did that, Jimmy got extended. So exactly. I'm just saying, if you go back and you look at that stuff, Jimmy got extended when he bought a house. I don't know if that'll happen with Vooch or not. With DeMar, if the season goes downhill horribly, I don't see this new front office sitting on their hands because just much like Mike over here, and he's talking about the pain that he had. At least he had CP3 and Harden in the last deck. It's been hard. We have not recovered from Derrick Rose being hurt. Never. No. Not even close. When Jimmy Butler was here, he became. I don't know what happened with him when Wade got here. It turned him into. Listen, there's a reason he bounced around a little bit. Okay, he turned into something that he probably kind of curbed a little bit. Very competitive guy, but he kind of became, as Joakim Noah would like to say, Hollywood as hell. But where we sit right now, if the season went terribly, I could possibly see this new front office blowing it up. I don't know though, because it's so new for us, man. You know, they're going into the third season. When they got here in the first initial season back in 2019, because then your 2019-2020 season, you know, that was your, oh my God, the starting lineup. I'm gonna throw up thinking about it, guys. Chris Dunn,
yeah.
Zach LaVine, whoever, plug and play at small forward. Who cares?
You have
Otto Porter was dead half the time he was here. I'm not even sure if he ever recovered, if that's the real him anymore. I'm not sure. Then you have Lauri Markkanen, and then you have Wendell Carter Jr. That's what they came into. So they turned that into Vucevic by trading those two first, which became Franz Wagner, and Wendell went over to Orlando. And then you go and you do the sign and trade with Thaddeus Young and a pick for DeMar DeRozan. They turn this ship around to make them competitive. When you say peak, I have to agree with you a little bit when you're not fully healthy. This team only clicks on all cylinders when you're not fully healthy. If you poke a hole in it, you're screwed. Now, There's two things on this team, two people on this team that if they make major jumps and they can do something that the Bulls are really trying to do, which is play that free-flowing offense, is Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu. If those, I mean, Ayo did it last year. He's all-team second rookie. You could argue he should have been all-team first rookie.
He should have been. He should have been.
Right. It's an argument.
Yeah.
He walked into a playoff team as a fourth or a second-round pick. You know, I mean, and he did what he did. But those two, if they make a jump, which Ayo in the playmaking spectrum of it, and then Patrick Williams and everything else. Look, guys, this guy was the fourth pick of the 2020 NBA draft. I mean, he went behind Wiseman, Edwards, and LaMelo Ball. Like he has showed nothing. And when I say like nothing, like it, and I'm talking consistency level, not a one-off playoff game where he drops 25. He has shown nothing. But you've seen the flashes, which fans get really excited about. And I'm not gonna lie, I got sucked into that too. I got way sucked into that. but I'm not going to sit here and argue with anybody and say, I think Miami's better. And I hate to say that because I don't like Miami. Not that I don't like you. I love you.
No, that's exactly what he said.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't like Miami just because of all that.
Thanks,
crap.
Buzz. Have a great night. No, just
thank you. We'll see you guys later.
Buzz had to go.
I had to go. But you know, the Derrick Rose days, you guys took that away from him with the super team.
Yes.
That's what happened. And you know,
That's fair.
And that like took him away, and that sucked because I thought he was at 22 years old, he was the man. But anyway, you know, I think Miami's better than them. Milwaukee's better than them. Like you said, Brooklyn is better than them. Philadelphia is better than them. Cleveland, that backcourt can score. That backcourt couldn't stop me and you off of 12 Miller Lights. It's not going to happen. They can't defend. Donovan Mitchell's not defending his shadow. And Darius Garland's usage is so far damn up that, I mean, he doesn't usually exert that energy on the other side of the ball. So that's what I'm a little worried, but they are a lot more complete. And that's what I'll say. So I'm not ready to don them better than us yet, but I wouldn't be surprised either.
I am. I mean, Cleveland.
I didn't ask you, Mike.
Well, I know. I thought I would just tell you, Buzz. No, like I think my thing with Chicago, you're never going to do anything with Billy Donovan. Like Billy Donovan, in my opinion, is one of the three most overrated coaches in the league. Like he can't coach his way out of a paper bag. He couldn't do it in Oklahoma City, and he can't do it in Chicago.
He's a college coach, I feel.
A lot of people share the same sentiments you do, Mike. Here in Chicago, I'm not even kidding. If you dive into Bulls Twitter, I'm telling you now, you'll see what you just said. A lot of people feel the same way that you do. But a lot of people also feel like he came in to build the culture.
Yeah. He's developed.
You know what builds culture? Talent.
Winning.
Talent and winning. You know, like I think that's the difference. Like I look at both of y'all's teams, and neither one of Chicago or Miami is going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think.
You're hurting
because,
me very bad.
Mike.
Well, no, but I think it's the
Mike.
Well, I think Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia wins it all. In all honesty, that's my pick to win it all because PJ Tucker is that guy. Like I watched him play. He's the missing piece in Philadelphia. And if James Harden can take that step forward with them, they're complete. Like, good luck stopping Philadelphia.
But does he limit you?
Who?
PJ Tucker.
Limit you with what?
Does he limit your flow?
Absolutely not. He helps your flow. I mean, he's one of when healthy and getting his opportunities. He's literally one of the three best three-point shooters from the corner. The dude is north of 38% from the three-point line. You guys saw that in Philadelphia, not as much as we saw it in Houston, but the way he talks about James Harden, that's his guy. That's his dude.
Oh, yeah.
You put those guys with Embiid. Like, if I'm a Bulls fan, I look at this team just as a whole. I don't know what it is. Like, I like DeRozan. I don't love DeRozan. I hate Alex Caruso, but that's more of a personal thing. But I actually, as a player, I like him. I don't know why Kobe White's not better either. Like, Kobe White's
Oh man, that is a huge thing. You just brought him up. Guess what? He didn't get today.
an extension.
Yeah, and why would he, Mike? Why would he?
The Lonzo Ball signing put him back a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree. So it's like you improve that spot. I don't like Lonzo Ball. Like, he's okay. Like, his father's a douche. Like, I would not want to deal with that. I wouldn't want to deal with that family if you forced me to and gave me money to. But, Patrick Williams, same thing at Florida State. Dude was a dog. But last year he was hurt. He only played 17 games last year.
Yeah, he got hurt by Mitchell Robinson, Knicks.
He's not a good rebounder, though. Like, you're 6'10". Why are you not a good rebounder? I love Miami, though. Like, I mean, I'm a Dolphins fan. Like, I'm much higher on Miami. I think Miami's the top 4 seed in the East. They're so complete. But are you good enough to beat Miami or Milwaukee in a 7-game series? No, I don't think.
I like how you said I don't think, though, because that's
I'll give you
I think that's a dog
maybe.
Yeah, but the thing with Philadelphia too, I think, because I've seen a lot of people picking Philadelphia, but that seems like to be a trend every year. People are saying, "Oh, watch for Philadelphia. They got this guy, Joel Embiid, who's one of the top tier talents." But and you're saying with him, PJ Tucker, with Joel Embiid, with James Harden, which James Harden are we getting? Which Joel Embiid when is Joel Embiid going to be on the court? I mean, just the other day, these two ran in together, and PJ was coming off the floor. The problem with Philadelphia to me is, first off, injuries, and they beat themselves. I'm not worried about Philadelphia this year. Milwaukee is a team I'm concerned about. Milwaukee's a team. Boston, even though they have all that controversy going on with their head coach, I don't think that's what they're doing. They're still a very strong team in the East, and they got better with Brogdon. So let me ask you this, because you're saying Philadelphia could, it could come out of the East. What does your East look like right now?
I mean, top to bottom, you look at, it starts with Milwaukee for me. I mean, Milwaukee is that team in my mind. I think they will be the number 1 seed. I think Philadelphia will be the number 2 seed and eventually come out of the East is my official prediction. The guy that we haven't talked about at all is Tyrese Maxey.
I'm about to bring him up.
That's true. Yep. That's true.
I think Tyrese Maxey is a dog. I think you have a guy like Matisse Thybulle who, if you just tell him go play defense, and that's all we need you to do, he can do it. I like the Kuzmas kid who can hit the 3 ball. I think, you turn guys into specialists on teams like that, and that is dangerous. Like, if you ask Tyler Hero to play defense, that's a problem. Tyler Hero is a bucket getter. That's what he does. But when you ask him to be more than he actually is, you start getting into trouble. Philadelphia doesn't have to do that. Tobias Harris, go score. We don't need you to play defense. Just go score. So I think Philadelphia is my 2 seed. I think Miami's the number 4. I love Cleveland this year. I think Cleveland, we didn't talk about their front court. Good luck scoring on their front court.
Yeah,
because
Mobley
I think between,
you're not,
Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, the Rockets, screwed up in that James Harden deal by not getting Evan Mobley because their ownership wanted to be cheap and not give Jared Allen an extension. That 6-year, $100 million deal for an all-star is ridiculously good. Cleveland's going to be the 3 seed in my eyes. I think Boston drops down to 5 with the coaching controversy. I don't think people realize how good Ime Udoka actually is at his job.
Yes.
I mean, I think the guy is phenomenal, and you're going to hand the reins to an NBA championship caliber team to a guy who's never coached in the NBA before. That's bad. Take it from a team who has a really bad coach in Steven Silas. Coaching means a lot. Just why Buzz, no offense to the Bulls, they'll never do anything with Donovan. Coaching means a lot. Spoelstra, to me, one of the most underrated coaches. Why that guy doesn't get talked about more all time. I'm not talking about coaching right now. Eric Spoelstra is a top 15 coach of all time in basketball.
Yeah, he is.
Collegiate, NBA, I don't care. Spoelstra is a dude. Like, that guy is ridiculously good. So that's my top 4 in the East.
Wow. So I you made great points. So with the Cleveland one, who's coaching Boston? Do we know who's going to be the coach?
The assistant last year. I forgot his name. It was one. I think it was the top assistant.
Because the difference between Silas and any other coach is the roster Silas got. James Harden dipped as soon as Silas got the job. Where the Celtics are, I mean, they're a powerhouse.
It's
So
Joe
whoever's-
Mazzola, by the way.
Well, damn. Okay.
There you go.
They won't win
No,
just
and
because
one
of that
thing I'll
name.
say-
I'm just gonna
But,
throw
but,
that.
but Mike, one thing I do say, you guys have one of the reasons you got John Lucas. John Lucas has dealt with a lot of problematic players, and I believe is the key for Porter Jr. was having the stability of John Lucas to basically rehab his image. And honestly, the contract, and now that you just mentioned that, it came to me. It's a win-win for him because he was almost out of the league. He got traded for a second-round pick, and Bobby knows I love Porter Jr. out of USC.
So
I wanted Porter Jr. I loved him, and I knew he was going to have his issues. But
the one thing
I
I want to say about that is I view it the opposite. Okay, this deal that he signed is so not player friendly. It's ridiculous. Like the deal that he entered into is team friendly. I mean, to the nth degree. And I get, which is not a bad thing. Like I actually like the Rockets taking that team first approach because I'm so sick and tired of the league being driven by the players and the owners not having a backbone. Like you're the owners of these teams and giving into the players. Good for Joe Tsai in Brooklyn, as an example, for not giving in to Kevin Durant. I would have asked for 135 first-round picks for Kevin Durant, and I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not kidding. I want your first-round pick for the next 135 drafts. What Kevin Porter Jr. did is he's rehabbed his image, but people don't, I don't know how much you guys heard about the incident that happened last year where he got into it with Christian Wood.
Yeah.
And Kevin Porter Jr. left the arena at halftime.
Yeah.
And I loved Kevin Porter Jr. more after that incident than before because he shows that he's got cojones. He's got don't fuck with me, right? Like, don't come after me. And Christian Wood, stop being a dog. And not in a good way. Not D-A-W-G. Don't be a D-O-G and be an a-hole that likes to, throw the entire roster into a sense of chaos. You know what I mean? That's why they traded him. And he's already not going to start in Dallas. Like, Christian Wood, he's an okay player, but the Rockets are better off without him than with him. I like the deal for the Rockets. Today I gave it a B- for Kevin Porter Jr. It puts $15.6 million into his pocket. But if he does not perform well, the Rockets will get rid of him. Like, he will not be here in 2 years. And especially next year, if they draft Scoot Henderson, if they get that second pick, he's not going to be a part of the long-term plans. But it's a feel-good story from where he was in Cleveland with where he is now.
Yeah, some sense of security. Even I
For
compared it a little bit to the Embiid deal, the Embiid max deal, but it was incentive based on how many games he played and all that. Because they obviously the Sixers wanted to max him, but they have protection. They needed protection because he had missed 2 or 3 years, obviously in the beginning of the year. But one question that I wanted to ask Bob, actually, how do you? Because you're asking us the questions. How do you feel the East stacks up? Because we got to talk about the West too.
The East, like I said, I think the Bucks obviously are the first or the number 1 seed when healthy. I mean, you guys, to me, who I think is the MVP favorite is Giannis again. So I got the Bucks number 1 in the East. I got the Celtics number 2. I don't think the coaching thing matters. They were good with their previous coach. They're good with last year's coach. They'll be fine with this year's coach. I got Heat number 3. I think the Heat, with the roster they built, even though they lost PJ Tucker, I think that they compensated for that well. And I think the coaching of Coach Spo and this roster is balanced. I feel this roster is going to respond. I mean, look at it. We're talking injuries with the 76ers. At least I brought that up. And when with the 76ers, when there's injuries, you see it. The team takes a step back. When Miami lost Bam Adebayo last year, Jimmy Butler wasn't playing games. Lowry was missing games. Miami was on a win streak. Miami continued to win. Now, you could credit that to coaching, but overall, that's the mentality, and people don't like to say it, especially when you're outside of the Heat or you're not a fan of the Heat, but that Heat culture is a real deal type of thing because these players know that it's about winning. It's the next man up mentality. So I think that carries over. I hate that the people are having Heat as a play-in team. I think it's more of a favoritism thing, but I do think the Heat go number 3. I think that's fine. I got Brooklyn. Again, that depends too. I got Brooklyn at number 4. I mean, you got a lot of talent on that roster, but again, there's so many question marks with that because again, you're talking about the drama in the locker room. You're talking about injuries. The Kevin Durant can't stay healthy anymore, it seems. Kyrie's always finding a reason not to play. Somebody ate his lunch and he doesn't want to play today, or the sun was too hot. It's just something always with him. So that kind of goes there. The Cavaliers I have as the 5th seed. I love everything Mike said. I agree with it. The Cavaliers are not a team to sleep on. They could be upset team in the playoffs. They could take a team out in a 7-game series. That front court with Mobley, the back court, I know what Buzz is talking about with the defense, but I mean, that team, again, you're talking about balanced roster, young gun roster. That's that roster there. The 76ers, I have 6. I mean, they are a very talented team. They got Joel Embiid. I mean, this guy is an MVP candidate every year. He's the real deal when healthy. But that's always the question with the 76ers. It's when healthy. James Harden hasn't been James Harden since a year before he left the Rockets. The year he tried to leave the Rockets, he gained a bunch of weight. All of a sudden, the weight disappeared as soon as he went to Brooklyn, and he forgot how to play basketball. Then he showed some glimpses last year in the playoffs, but not enough for me to say, oh, he's going to come back for real just because he left some money on the table. So, I have him number 6. The Hawks I have at 7. The Hawks got a little better. They're a young team. They got some fire. They're always around there, but they got Murray from San Antonio. I like that backcourt. 8, I got the Bulls. And that's not against the Bulls, because I still think the Bulls have a capable roster to upset some teams. And I think they have a roster. Remember, a lot of people were talking about DeMar DeRozan as an MVP candidate last year. He has taken a step forward in his career. And just like Butler at an older age has kind of got up to top 10, top 12, top player in the NBA. And he's an older player. I think DeRozan's kind of reaching that point. He's an all-around type of player. He's not going to be some three-point shooter or something like the way the NBA is trending. He's an all-around player. So I actually like the Bulls. And I have them at 8 because the East is stacked, but I think they could be a problem. The 9, I got the Raptors. And 10, I got the Hornets as a play-in. These are play-in teams. But that's kind of how I have the East stacked up.
Okay.
I didn't know if that's all you wanted, but I said, let me read off the whole damn thing.
Hey, that's great. That's great. Buzz, I'll go with you, man. How do you have the East?
Man, I got Philadelphia at number 1. That's right. I think that we are forgetting about guys like, that Mike brought up earlier. I really like the balance of that team. They're long, they're lanky, and a couple of them play some mad ass defense, and they don't lack scoring. So, I mean, I have Philadelphia at number 1. I actually have Milwaukee at number 2. I have Boston at number 3. I have Brooklyn at number 4. So after the top 4 seeds, I know the top 6 are locked in, and that's fine. That's kind of tough. I know you said the Hawks earlier. I think they screwed themselves with that Murray deal, because Murray needs the ball. Okay. And who always has the ball there? That's Trae Young. I'm not worried about them at all, because you put Murray off ball, what's he going to do? They're going to figure out that he's going to constantly cut. I mean, that's all he can't shoot. So that's something that's all. And plus it's Atlanta. No one likes Atlanta. So,
especially the traffic, man.
Right. I got Miami at number 5.
Okay.
And God, I've got Cleveland at 6. That's where I have them. Everything else is playing now. So I don't give a shit, because it's all playing behind there. You're not locked in, period. End of story. So like I told you guys earlier, I have the Bulls at 7. I know it looks different. I know it looks odd. DeRozan shot a career high from 3 last year. He had a career in points per game last year. This guy was, I'll tell you what, man, he was unbelievable. He blew a lot of expectations for a lot of Bulls fans. I don't think they saw that kind of stuff coming out of him. And it was pretty amazing, where you had a lot of fans themselves questioning whose team is it, right?
Yeah.
And Zach LaVine he got a max contract. I think all of us could admit here, no one's going to let Zach walk. You don't know if he's a max player back when we all look to be in our 20s and 30s here. So when you go back, when you gave out max contracts back in the day, they fucking meant something.
Yeah.
That was a big deal back in the day.
Yes,
I remember when Rose got his. You just didn't give a max just to give a max away back then. It's kind of happening more and more now, because that's the trend of how the NBA is going. Like kind of Mike said, the owners trying to take the power back, balance this out a little bit. But it's the way the NBA is going. I like Zach LaVine. He's a 25-5-5 guy on 50-40, 85 to 88, shooting, which is pretty fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
What Zach hasn't really learned yet is how to not exert his energy on one side of the court so he doesn't have any on the other side, because all of us could admit here, he is one of the most, if not the most athletic guy to guard in the league.
He needs balance. Yeah.
Right. If he were to play defense, you're talking a serious two-way player here. The guy can score from anywhere, mid, 3, in the paint, doesn't matter. He can do it all. Just doesn't play on the other end of the court. And that's the bad part of it all. This isn't Monte Ellis where you just somehow imagine
Monte.
25 points
Wow.
a game. You know, that's not what
Yes.
this is. This guy's a good player. He's a multiple-time All-Star for a reason. But again, I have him at 7 because they're so cohesive unit based. Like I said earlier in the show, if something falls off, that's it. So that's where I have them. And all this trouble going on in Charlotte, I'd be surprised if they got to be the 10th seed. I really would. I just, and not to, I respect your opinion completely. It's just so crazy. What I thought along your lines, they were going to be something special. Then everything kind of goes down with Bridges. LaMelo gets hurt. I mean, it's kind of, they just had an arrest today.
Yeah,
Burke,
they're going for Victor.
It's getting a little crazy.
They might as well go for Victor too. They might as well just tank.
You know what? And I wouldn't be mad at them if they did that.
No, I want the Rockets to get Victor now. I want the Rockets for my brother there, Mike.
Me too. Me too.
Mike don't want to lose again, man, and I want Mike to be alive to enjoy that.
Well,
Exactly.
Thank you, Buzz.
But Mike, I'm
Hey,
going to
man,
tell
that's
you, your talent, the talent that the Rockets have might affect them. I mean, Utah has Colin Sexton. They got Lauri Markkanen. I got to give something to Utah. They acquired the first round pick of every team they made a trade with Minnesota, and they acquired also the Cleveland pick that they drafted. So those are going to be talented players. Obviously, they're not going to win anything this year at all. But before I forget,
thank you, Alex.
yeah,
No, but like I think
real quick, competition for those little balls.
Right. Well, I think it's interesting. I want to make sure I bring this up. Give me a time where a team has gone that route and it's actually worked out. Boston's got close, but it hasn't ultimately worked out. The Rockets already have on their roster right now within the last two drafts. They have 7 guys. They haven't won anything.
Exactly, but they were able to build their roster and acquire the roster through that. But it was a long process.
But here's the thing, though. Is like it's a long process and it's done nothing. Like, and that's the thing is I love all of these fans who
San Antonio. That's it. When they got Duncan, but they lost Robinson. That's it.
and San Antonio worked. You can say Golden State. Golden State, it worked for that 1 year that they got their guys, but there's so many examples where it doesn't work. It hasn't worked in Boston. It hasn't worked in Philadelphia. It certainly hasn't worked in Charlotte. And so as a Rockets fan, like I sit here and I go, why not go get a guy like Donovan Mitchell, especially for what they got? Why not go make a run at a Rudy Gobert when you don't have a center? Like, that's my problem. That's what I'm screaming from the rooftops is if you tank, you're going to piss your fan base off, which this team obviously doesn't care about. And they have half-empty arenas. No one's buying beer. No one's paying for parking. No one's buying jerseys. Like, the thing is, and then the last 2 years, it hasn't worked out. Even when they drafted Jalen Green, I like Jalen Green a lot. I still take Evan Mobley. If you've ever watched Evan Mobley play basketball, you know how hard it is.
Yeah.
I can find another Jalen Green. I know that sounds weird, but I can find that guy
I get what you're saying.
Easier than an Evan Mobley, a 7-footer who can block shots, who can get buckets, and is a good rebounder.
He's a centerpiece in a championship team eventually.
It's not even close, man.
Yeah.
I have to ask. I hate to interrupt. I'm so sorry, but would you really give up what Utah gave up what Minnesota gave up for Rudy Gobert for Houston? I mean, the GM might call you up and ask for a left nut from you, dude.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Like that trade was nuts.
Well, the trade. Look, here's the thing. The trade was nuts. I'm saying, would I give up what they gave up? Not necessarily, but I think that we could have included better young talent and less draft picks. Minnesota didn't have that young talent. They had to supplement it with draft picks. The Rockets were in a spot where they could have given up a guy like KJ Martin Jr., who I like a lot, but they've got now Tari Eason and they've got Jayshawn Tate, who they just signed to an extension. They wouldn't have had to give up in more first-round picks. Also, those picks would have been better than what Minnesota's would be by getting Gobert, so they would have had to have given up lesser draft capital. Go get Rudy Gobert, 100%, because he makes you that much better defensively, which is what we were so desperate for.
Right.
Yeah, but for example, you trade for Rudy, and that is your marquee signing, free agents, acquisition, trade. Does that push the needle anywhere for you in the next year or two? Because 100%. You can't even surround.
Oh, I think it does for the Rockets with that type of talent, the talent they would still have on that roster. You know, a
Yes.
lot of people look at Rudy and they go,
That
"Oh, he's
roster's
just a
too
defensive
young.
player."
That roster's too
But
young.
Jabari, you know, that was after Jabari was drafted,
Yeah,
right?
it was after Jabari was drafted. He's your 4. You put
Yeah.
Tari Eason at the 3. You have Jalen and you have KPJ. And the thing is, when people say, not, Alex, but just, I see this
Yeah.
every day on
No,
social
say
media.
Alex. Say it, Alex. He's a piece
Yeah.
of
You
shit.
can say
It's
Alex.
okay.
I'm okay.
No, I wouldn't say that. No, but like in Buzz, I want your opinion on this too. Like running a podcast account, you have all these people that have all these opinions where he doesn't fit the time, he doesn't fit the timeline, he doesn't fit this. I'm like, okay, first of all, that's a timeline that you're saying that you think the team should go by. That doesn't exist. Like if the Dolphins go get Lamar Jackson, they're a Super Bowl contender. Screw the timeline. Like, trust the talent. You don't trust the draft picks because the draft picks mean nothing. They're nothing right now. The Rockets could get the number 1 pick next year, but right now you're taking your team, your roster into another shitty year of basketball. That's not the way to build a team. Well, you have to go through the hard times. No, you're going through the hard times because you as a front office are deciding to go through the hard times.
Yeah, I guess it's all hypothetical at that point just because of what we wouldn't know what the Houston Rockets would have to give up. But I'll tell you one thing, and I mean, this is just it. I mean, if your best player is Rudy Gobert, you're not winning shit. I mean, and that just
Listen,
Right.
listen, but yeah, you're not winning this season, right? But when Jabari Smith and Jalen Green grow with this guy as their center, who's a legit defensive player of the year candidate year in and year out, yeah, you may not win this year, but if Jabari Smith takes he's a rookie. I don't want to say next step, but if he takes the next step, Jalen Green, as we were saying earlier, we're going to talk about most improved, takes the next step, then that's the time. I get what he's doing because as a Dolphins fan, we talk about it. That's the frustrating thing, sitting there and relying that somebody's going to develop to be good. When it's like, no, go make the move.
Bears fan, your life's tough.
You're in for a long. You're in for a long.
Look at these banners behind me, boy. Yeah, dude. What do you mean?
You're in pain, man.
That's why I do think timeline matters a tiny bit. I love talent too, man. But
Yeah.
timeline matters because he's 30 years old, bro. I mean, by the time these guys start clicking and making it happen, he's gonna be 32. His game is built off what? Athleticism at 7 foot. That's gonna go away.
That's it. He doesn't have range defensively. And Mike, one thing, maybe you can share that with me or not. What I seem to be the vision of the Rockets is develop their young talent. If a disgruntled star, the Houston for me has always been an attractive market. Unfortunately, after the situations, because I mean, when Miguel was there, they got Howard. Obviously, they traded for Harden. So it's an attractive market, but yet you have to trade kind of for your centerpiece or draft. So what I see from afar, I know they're building their core and they're banking also. The salary cap is going to take a spike in a few years with the new TV money. So now we're talking about these contracts that we're seeing now. These are going to see as like bargain contracts. These max deals that we're going to see in a year or 2 or 3 when the TV contract comes up. I mean, dude, you just saw Charles Barkley and the whole crew for TNT get extended 10-year deals, and I believe Charles Barkley's between $100 and $200 million.
He deserves
so
it.
Know they're
he
gonna
deserves
be
it.
He deserves
I
everything.
love that guy.
He does. But when I saw that contract, I'm like, wait a second. The TV deal's coming up. TNT is going to bid against Amazon, against Apple. They want to retain those basketball rights. The money that's going to go into this league is insane. So you're possibly counting on Houston doing what Indiana did to the Pacers. You guys are going to have some cap space to do a lot of restricted free agents, sign them to offer sheets, and some of those offer sheets aren't going to be matched. Talent that you're going to acquire, or you trade and you package certain pieces for the Donovan Mitchell deal. And the next star that
It's
comes
just the thing is, I understand the
saying it's Brad
frustration
Beal or
of
anything.
waiting for a year. Oh, let's hope next year is it. Let's hope the
absolutely.
next year after that. I get
Absolutely.
that point. But I will say, though, for the Rockets, again, Jabari Smith, Jalen Green, I love those guys. And I think Rockets are going to reap the benefits.
Well, I think Alex, to touch on what you said, no state income tax.
Yeah.
And the Rockets got very, very close in 18. If Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, they win a title. And then they panicked, is what the front office
you
did.
guys would have won.
Well, when you trade Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook, that was the Titanic, because then you trade a guy. People don't talk about this trade often. Clint Capella going to Atlanta, they haven't been able to replace him since. And you had to.
That was horrible.
You had to trade
Oh
him
my
because you couldn't have him and Russell Westbrook on the same team, because Russell had to be able to create his own space. That trade was horrendous. Here's what I would say. Here's a guy that if I'm a Rockets fan, I know we got to move on to the West, but I'll give you a name to watch for the Rockets in the next 12 months is De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento. Because if I'm Sacramento, I think that team is going to get blown up because I think they have awful ownership. They don't know what they have. De'Aaron Fox, they don't play him right. They don't give him the right running buddies. And the contract that Kevin Porter Jr. is under is very, very tradable. You have multiple draft picks coming in from Brooklyn, and as a part of that awful James Harden deal that the Rockets still get an F for that deal. You have your own picks. You have those Brooklyn picks. You have young talent that you can package. You can send Alperen Şengün out, who would be a nice piece to put next to Rashawn Holmes. De'Aaron Fox is a guy that would fit in perfectly in Houston. He has ties to the state of Texas. That is the guy to keep your eyes on if you are a Rockets fan.
Love it. Yeah, let's talk about the West. Let's get our move so we can move it on there, Alex. Let's talk about
Absolutely.
Buzz, man. Buzz, man, how do you think the East is going to look? I mean, the West. Excuse me, sir.
The West.
You're on.
Buzz,
Oh, you're on mute, Buzz.
Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Got Golden
Hey,
State.
that was a great recap of the Warriors.
Yeah, we're pretty all right. Yeah.
Out there, bud.
Got Golden State is number one. I got I got Golden State as number one. I got Denver as number two. I've got the Clippers at number three. Everybody being healthy over there. I'm curious to see how that goes. Two of the best scorers, two of the best defenders in the NBA over there with the Clippers. I've got Memphis at number four because I really like Ja Morant. And I ate my words on that kid. I did not think he would be good because he went to Murray State and he played shit competition. So, hey, that's my guy, Senor, right there. You guys have a beer with that guy. But yeah, I got Memphis at number four. I've got Phoenix at number five. And the reason I have Phoenix at number five is because of there's a lot of shit going on over there. And I feel like it's a little bit of a disservice, because they do have some good talent, but outside distractions can prove to be terrible in any sense of the word. So it's like, I don't know what they're actually going to do. So I got them at five, and I have Dallas at number six. Luka Doncic. I know they lost Jalen Brunson this offseason, but Luka's a fucking beast, man. I mean, watching that guy play you're watching something special. And as much as I hate to admit it, because I wish he was on the Bulls, because, we could have traded up, but no, we didn't. We ended up with Lauri Markkanen, I think, in that trade, because he was a 2017 NBA draft. Yes, we ended up with Lauri Markkanen in that trade. So that's my top six over there. Then you could follow that by Minnesota, New Orleans, possibly, because they're fun too. Zion stays healthy, they're fun. So that's what I got.
Let me run by mine, Alex. We can keep going that way because we're past that.
Go ahead. I'll take it.
Go ahead. I think I got Golden State number one, Clippers 2, Suns 3, Memphis 4, Minnesota 5. Followed by Denver and Dallas 6, and then of course you got the playing Lakers, Portland, Pelicans. I'll say it.
My
quick.
guys can't get any respect from the first two lists. This is bullshit. Golly, Buzz. Yeah, a little disrespectful. Yeah, I'm gonna clearly go Houston at number one. No, I'm actually gonna go a little bit different. I think the Clippers are gonna be the number one seed. I think that team is freaking loaded from top to bottom.
Yeah.
I hate John Wall for what he did to Houston, but I think that he's the perfect piece. And if Kawhi stays healthy and George and Zubac, they're so good. I'm actually gonna go with where was I going to go number two? And I was going to Memphis, I think, is going to be number two. I think Ja is special. I think the guy,
yes, he is.
And they are so good on the wings too. They just re-signed Brandon Clark, which I think was an underrated signing. I love Steven Adams up front for them too. I think he stabilizes that front court. Yeah, and then defensively, their guards just get after you the entire game. At three, I'm going to go with Minnesota. I think it's going to work out in Minnesota because I think they're able to move Karl Anthony Towns back to the four, which is where he wants to play at the four. He doesn't want to be a back to the basket five. Anthony Edwards, I think, is legit. I don't think much of their point guard position, but I don't think they're going to need it with Anthony Edwards. And then at four, I've got Golden State. I think Golden State's going to take a step back this year. I think that they're going to try and move more towards the playoff center of saying, we're not going to go all out in the regular season, make the playoffs, and we're going to be fine. So I put them at four. Five, I'm going to go with New Orleans. I think New Orleans, if Zion can stay in the shape that he's in, Brandon Ingram, some of the guys that they drafted last year, big on Minnesota. Then at 6, I'll go with Dallas. I hate Doncic, but I respect the hell out of his game. They are going to miss Jalen Brunson, and they are not going to be good up front this year. I know that they signed JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee is not a starting center for an entire season, and that's what they're going to go with.
Hey,
and I also think
you watch it, buddy.
And I also think Jason Kidd, I think, again, it comes back to coaching. I think Jason Kidd is a bad head coach. I don't believe in Jason Kidd at all. I think even if they make the playoffs, they go out in the first round.
Oh, wow.
So that's my top 6.
I'll say again.
Go ahead,
The
Alex.
one good thing that Jason Kidd did was put Giannis at the point. I gotta give him that. He's the one that started playing Giannis at the point.
Yeah, for
He
sure.
did. No,
that's
he
the
did.
one
You're
thing
right.
he did. That's
I just
it.
want to say to Senior
That's it.
Senor Sox. We talked about the Bulls.
Sox,
I had
yes.
them at 8 for this coming season. I think everybody had them as a plan, right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, like and subscribe, please.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching your boy.
Absolutely. The
Buzz.
problem is, when I got my brother here, I kind of just deflect and I become one of these analysts, and I forget that I'm the one hosting. So he takes over and starts asking questions, which I appreciate. And I'm gonna go with my West team. I'll do it quick. I have the Clippers number 1. I think the Clippers are the most balanced team in the West. I really do. I got Warriors number 2 because I believe that they have balanced roster as well. They have. I just saw this beer. I believe they have a balanced roster. They're going to implement Kuminga. They're going to implement Wiseman as well. The Draymond situation with Poole. Poole is a great player. He's going to be cohesive with Curry, Thompson. So they're going to be fine all the way around. I got Grizzlies number 3. I think the Grizzlies are probably the deepest team in the West.
Yeah.
Because obviously John Morant is even going to take another step. They got shooting. They got size. They got experience. And Adams just a bully down low. He's kind of your anchor. He's kind of your veteran presence, and he gets the guys going. Bane is an excellent shooter, much better than people envision.
Oh, I love Bane.
I got Minnesota at the 4. Oh, Bane is solid, man.
Yeah.
I got Minnesota at the 4. The only thing I want to see the level, the cohesiveness with D'Angelo Russell as well, because you're going to start getting in the season. They're not going to extend them. They're not looking to extend them probably. And then you kind of see, obviously, this is Anthony Edwards to me. Out of everyone in that roster, Anthony Edwards is going to carry them. Gobert is your anchor defensively. Can Karl-Anthony Towns defend the wing? Because they're going to pull him out. So his defense is going to be tested. He's lost some weight, and he's athletic. So shooting-wise, I got nothing to worry about. Offensively, it's going to be cool to see how they incorporate everything, but they're going to be fine. I got the Nuggets at 5, and they might even creep up higher. Okay?
Ooh.
But
Hey, Beer Gordon Jim. This is funny, man. Look, he was the guy working. I was wondering who thought he goes. Alex, what do you got on, bro? What you got?
the problem is, it has a high neck, man.
Oh, shit. I thought this whole time, I thought he was talking about Bobby, and I'm like looking at Bobby, and I'm like, that's not a turtleneck.
I know. I was
Oh,
saying
no, he was talking about Alex. I was like, oh, shit. My fault.
I mean,
Me too. I was like, oh,
any
shit.
20-year-old turns into this podcast and sees a sweater and a turtleneck. They're like, what the fuck is this shit?
I already said I apologize for my Mr. Rogers. Look, I just came home from work. It's cold where I am. I didn't have time to change. So, but he wasn't talking shit about me. He talking shit about you, Alex.
He honestly had me looking down, too. I'm like, what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, we all were looking at each other.
I was like, I thought I looked okay, but this is bullshit.
Thank you, Beer Gordon Jim, for the entertainment. Like and subscribe. We
Appreciate
it.
it, my man. Appreciate it. And
Buzz.
to finish it off.
Oh,
I
go ahead.
got
Go ahead. I'm
Nuggets.
sorry,
I got
Alex.
Nuggets. Yeah, I got Nuggets. They got Jamal Murray coming back. One of the most talented rosters there. Balanced. You got the MVP, back-to-back MVP. Nicola's still there. And then at the Mavericks,
Overrated.
who I have as my current MVP this year.
Sorry.
I got the Mavericks. I think Luka's going to win MVP, and I think he takes them over the top. And they got some good shooting. So I know they're going to miss Brunson as well. I think the Knicks overpaid for him, and they have a very small backer, but that's not neither here or there. So I'll swing it back to Bobby.
No, Alex, I'm gonna throw it right back to you since you talked about your MVP.
Oh,
give us
go ahead.
your, and then we'll get to Buzz and then Michael, and then I could finish it up or whatever. But let's talk about it. Your MVP. You have Luka. You said that already, right?
I got Luka.
What?
I got Luka Doncic. Yes, I think he's gonna carry. He's gonna carry that team, and he's healthy. He's lost weight. I feel that this is I'm not gonna say he's gonna average a triple double, but he's probably the most overall gifted player right now in this league. Defensively, not there, obviously. That team is going to need to outscore a lot of teams to actually win anything consistently. But I think he's going to carry them. If he stays healthy, he's going to carry them all year.
Let's do it like this. So that you got, okay, Buzz,
Yeah.
who's your MVP?
I'm with Alex. I had Luka Doncic
Okay.
picked to be the MVP of the NBA this season. Again, you look at the help that he has over there, what he's been able to do the last couple seasons.
Yo!
No, they haven't. No, they haven't. And, oh man, one that I'm getting a lot, guys, is
Mike McDaniel.
I went to the
Yeah.
Dolphins game yesterday, and I had like 4 people like, "Hey, do you know you look like a coach?" Like, yeah, yes, I'm aware.
You're a lot better looking than Mike
From San
McDaniel there, Alex.
Francisco.
Just saying.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's
But yeah,
the
I got-
time.
I think it's a tie, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I got Giannis. I have Giannis winning MVP 3rd time in a row. I'm gonna keep it going. What do you got, brother?
Jalen Green. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Damn!
I'm gonna go Ja Morant.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
good.
I love that. I love that.
That's good. Yeah.
Pop that
Oh
turtle.
shit. Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
John Moran. Okay, let's stick with you, Mike. Rookie of the year.
Oh man, rookie of the year. Ooh. God damn, that's tough, man. I mean, I'm gonna go. Who went first overall?
Paulo.
Paulo.
Yeah, Paolo's not
Orlando.
winning. Yeah, he's overrated too. You know what? In all honesty, I'm gonna keep it local. I'm gonna go Jabari Smith Jr.
That's fair.
I think
Alex-
Jabari's gonna have a massive year this year.
Oh,
You're
man.
not wrong.
I don't know, man. It is tough. How about Keegan Murray?
Keegan
Ooh.
Murray. I like
I
that.
like that pick.
Which is
I like that pick.
one of the reasons I think De'Aaron Fox could be moved eventually. What Mike was saying. That's one of the reasons he could be moved.
Alex, do you agree with Mike? You got Jabari?
I was torn during the whole year. I had Chet. Obviously, he goes down. I thought he was going to be rookie of the year, but I'm gonna go with Paolo just because he's gonna get the excessive amount of playing time. He's gonna be all out. That Orlando Magic's team, Mike, is like the East. It's like the East version of you guys. You're just gonna play the young guys. You're gonna run them, get them experience, bump in the road. You're gonna win 20 games, but you're gonna be fun. That's it.
I have a Paolo as well. I think, and I was torn. I was torn between him and Jabari because I'm a big fan of Jabari Smith. But I think Paolo's gonna get more minutes. He's gonna be used more. He's gonna be the delivering the ball, assist, points. He's just all around. I think he gets rookie of the year. Plus, obviously, #1 pick. He gets all the favoritism. Everybody's hyped on him. Defensive player of the year, Alex. Who you got?
Okay, defensive player. I'm a homer with this one, and I think he should have been the defensive player of the
But
year.
are you being a homer or are you being legit?
Just pick Tyler Hero and get it over with.
He's actually improved drastically. I'm gonna go with Bam Adebayo. I think Bam Adebayo, hands down, 1 through 5, is the best defender in the NBA, no matter what.
Interesting.
Caw. I'm with you on Bam Adebayo. I'm gonna say just because
Next
I think
one.
he has a chip on his shoulder. I think Bam Adebayo has a chip on his shoulder. I
Mhm.
think he's determined to win it. I think the league is starting to notice that he should have been top 2, top 3 last year. He wasn't, which was a crime. But I think they make up for it. I think he deserves it. I think he'll make it this year. Buzz, what are you thinking, man? Defensive player of the year.
Yeah, mine's gonna be a little unconventional. Who has the most to benefit off of that award that is a prior All-Star? That's Ben Simmons. That's Ben Simmons.
Holy
over in
shit,
Brooklyn,
yes.
who
Wow.
does not,
Yes.
he does not need to be provided anymore to be, he doesn't have to be that scoring guy. He doesn't need to do that. You have Kevin Durant. That's true. That's my guy.
Calm down, Corey. You're gonna have this guy Mike jump through the screen.
Yeah, Ben Simmons has the defense. He can play defense. He doesn't need to score anymore. He's got Durant and Kyrie Irving there that could do that for him, so he gets to play his game. Ben Simmons will be an all-star once again. As much as I'm not a big fan of him, I just kind of see that as a storyline playing out for this guy. I think he'll be the defensive player of the year. That's who I have down.
I love that, man. That's all right.
I'm
Mikey.
going,
Mike,
I'm going Draymond Green
That's actually
because
a good
because
pick,
that
that a serious
dude,
pick?
it's a serious pick because
Hey,
Because-
Hey.
because he has got the chip of all chips on his shoulder, and he's going to come out and he's going to prove why he deserved an extension before Jordan Poole. I think that's a bad move by Golden State. I got to be honest with you. I would have signed Draymond before Poole.
Oh God.
I would have done that too. I'm with you on that.
I'm late to the club. I'm
No,
not gonna
because-
lie. I think they overpaid a little bit for Poole. I think
They overpaid him, and I think they panicked because I don't think they realized how important Draymond is to that team. Because if you
True.
take him out of the
Yeah.
middle, who are you going to put in the middle? You think Kevon Looney's going to
And
be your No,
And they also
Draymond
extended,
is so
and they also extended Wiggins.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
right.
The subsequent extension. They extended Wiggins right after. So this is the plan. Have you
right.
seen their numbers? How much you're going to pay in tax?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's
Dude,
ridiculous.
It's like $500 million.
That's funny. See, the most valuable boxer is funny. I'm just saying, man. Like people can dog Draymond Green as much as they want. He is so vital to the success of that team, and he's going to prove it. And in all honesty, if I'm the Rockets,
He's the glue.
from a Rockets point of view, I would take Draymond Green on my team any day of the week, and I'd let him fight every single guy on the team to toughen them up on a daily basis. I would support him
Yeah, I take Draymond. I would.
in 5 seconds.
Coach of the year, Mike. Or did we go? Yeah, coach.
Yeah, we can go in snake order here.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, man. I'm gonna go Ty Lue.
That's fair.
I love Silas.
I think Ty Lue is gonna do a great job with the Clippers, and I think they're going to the NBA Finals, and I think the Clippers are gonna beat them in the finals.
Damn. I gotta go. Ty Lue I was between Ty Lue, but he meant to be my second choice. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think Chris Finch will be coach of the year.
Ooh.
I
Yeah,
like Chris
Rockets
Finch.
at him. Why would we want to keep a guy like that?
I know. Buzz.
Willie Green.
Ooh.
Oh, Pelicans.
Yeah,
I
there you
love
go.
this.
Pelicans. Well, I mean, think about what they did. You know, I mean, they gave Phoenix some business. You know, I mean, and now you're getting Zion back here. I mean, guys got, yeah, I mean, and that's young talent over there too that was starting to do some shit. So I think that if they have a healthy season and he's able to coach up to, you know, his typical standards and have the talent that already exists in that realm, I don't see how he does not win it if they are a surefire in playoff. If they're not in the play-in and they're a top 6 seed, that guy, there's no reason he shouldn't be the coach of the year. That's my opinion.
And see, acquiring CJ is huge for them. It really was.
Mhm.
They gave him a buzz. And for me, I'm gonna say mine. I'm gonna say this is another one. Not being Homer, but I believe that Spoelstra finally gets a Coach of the Year award. Not that he wants it, he doesn't care for it, but he hasn't been recognized for some work that he's done. And I believe this is gonna be the finest offensive work that you're gonna see him do in his tenure. So I'm gonna say, and I have Heat top 2 in the East this year. I'm not gonna say 1 or 2, but I do got him top 2. And I think based on his offensive work and the schemes that he's going to run, the patterns, the rotation he's going to have, and what he's going to work with, I think he takes it this year.
And I just want to say too, Kerry has Coach of the Year, goes to the Celtics coach for sure, right? Too soon. That's funny.
Beer garden. I
and
love beer garden.
Now we know Buzz has a huge hog. Thanks, Beer. Appreciate you. Just to let you all know, first off, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. You're watching Fast Break on the FinStalk Sports Network. Please like and subscribe to the channel. But let me right now, okay, 6th man of the year went to Tyler Hero. Alex, who's it going to this year?
Wow. Dude. Come back around.
He said, "Come back around."
Come back
Oh,
I got 3 people. Go. Come back around.
All
Go
right,
around the
for
world.
me, I'll do it. For me, it is Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole, 6th man of the year this year for me. What do you got, Buzz?
Malcolm Brogdon over in Boston.
Ooh, love it.
So, I mean, basically, again, you have a team that's under some turmoil there. You're bringing a veteran guy into the bench to help out. A very big move for them in general. I think we could all agree on that. So I would say Malcolm Brogdon probably be the 6th man of the year. I think it makes the most sense if that team competes and he does what he needs to do in his end, playing defense, hitting the 3. I think he's the guy.
Love it.
I'm gonna go DeAnthony Melton in Memphis.
Okay.
DeAnthony Melton is a dog. I mean, he
he's
goes
very-
back, you know, Desmond Bain, DeAnthony Melton. I mean, they will just get in your shorts the entire game. And I'm jealous. You know, DeAnthony Melton was a guy the Rockets had on draft night and they traded him. But
Mike, you want to respond to this?
yeah, Caruso still sucks. It's
Yo!
8:16 Central Time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Buzz, we're family at this point. I will not say that. No, I mean, I think Caruso is a dog, man, and it wouldn't shock me. You know, I love his game. I give the guy shit, but he really does bring a lot to a team, and he can be a missing piece on a
It's
team.
just the scoring. That's what they look at for that 6-man role. You could just scoring, you know, that's just, yeah. This one guy said Grayson Allen. Shut up, Jim. I'm tired of you today.
I don't know if we meant to do this. We just rattled off like 4 white guys in the league, like in a row for 6th man of the year.
I said Jordan
That's
Poole.
awesome. I mean,
I said Jordan Poole.
yeah, I mean, no, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about Grayson Allen got love. Tyler Hero got love.
That's on you guys, bro. Leave it to the Puerto Rican to say the one.
I'm saying, man. Next thing you're gonna say is, he tried really hard. He was really good for the locker room. Real big character guy. Yeah, just rattle it off now.
Surprisingly athletic.
Yeah, right.
Sneaky fast.
Yeah, that came out of left
Sneaky
field.
fast. I like that. Yeah, white guys are always
Most
sneaky
improved
fast.
player. Most improved
No,
player.
hold on. My 6th man.
Oh,
hold on. You didn't come back
what the
to me,
hell?
man.
That's you were
I
the
thought
first
about
one.
this.
That's why it's all screwed up.
And this is funny because
Justice
I wanted
Winslow.
him, and no, get out of here. Don't go back to that. Mike, you said something that he did to your team. I don't think he did anything to the team. They asked him not to play, but I think 6th man of the year, believe it or not, is going to be John Wall if he's not starting for the Clippers.
Yeah,
I think he's going to come, and he might be most improved. But actually,
I like it.
I'll swing around. I'll start the most improved, and I'm going to go with Jalen Green. I think Jalen Green could possibly lead the league in scoring if he wanted to, top 3 in scoring.
All right. First off,
Bobby,
Al,
go to
the
you.
turtleneck is Cuban. I'm Puerto Rican. Okay, let me just say that. Senior socks.
yes.
You know,
Well,
for me-
he's Puerto Rican, but he was raised. We were raised.
I was
together.
raised
So
in
he's as Cuban
Hialeah.
as they come.
I was raised Cuban.
Yeah,
That's
he's
fair.
the
Yes.
whitest Puerto Rican Cuban you've ever seen. So
That's
don't worry
not.
about
Let's not talk about color complexion. I mean, it's fair. Come on, bro. Let's not go there. For
I
me,
mean, we're all
it's
white guys on a basketball podcast right now. Dude. It's called the fast break.
Okay, I'm not athletic, but I'm
Yeah,
fundamental.
right.
All right.
There you go. Mine was when we played street ball. Me and Alex growing up, it always was foul, free shots, foul. I'm gonna tell you right now. For me, my 6th man, my most improved, is Jalen Green. I got Jalen Green as well, most improved player. He's with that roster with Jabari Smith there. He's gonna take advantage of that. I got Jalen Green, brother.
Well, I mean, I think it would just be boring if I took Jalen Green. Oh, go ahead, Buzz.
I don't like where that award has went, and not because you said Jalen Green, because like it used to be like vets coming off of something like improving. Now it's like these young guys with a ton of hype behind them ascending. I don't understand why that's like that, but if I had to give it to one who's gonna
The most ascending player.
right, dude, that's what it should be really called these days. But if I had to pick one, it's down to 2, and I know it's not really fair, but I would say if they're gonna give it to somebody, I think you see a huge jump with Anthony Edwards this year. I also think that Tyrese Halliburton is a dark horse candidate for that as well. So those are my most improved guys. These guys are going hard in your comments.
I didn't even hear what you said. I'm just laughing at this.
It's okay. This is what my friends do when I share
This
what
is what
I'm
you
doing.
deal with.
These are my guys,
This is
so
awesome.
I love them a lot. But
That's
yeah.
awesome,
Like Brian
dude.
Wishorse. Oh man.
No, you
That
don't
is
look like
amazing.
Brian
Hey, bro,
Windhorst, Gary.
I
My
really, I
God.
couldn't have asked. I know we've Jorts. I love him. Look, I really couldn't have asked for a better first show. I know we were supposed to do it last week. Family situation came up. I wasn't able to make it, and I'm so happy. First of all, have you on, Bob, you on, Buzz, you, Mike. We're all family here, and like I said, during the season, after a few games, after a few weeks, I would love for you guys to come back also when you're available. We can talk about what we see. Same things with your teams. You can feed off. We can be each other's like therapeutic release. Well, if your team is struggling, Mike, and you're going through growing pains, you can call us.
Why are you singling me out? Why don't you go to Buzz first with that one?
Because I have
Mike,
playoff
if your team-
aspirations,
Man,
boy.
if your team sucks, Mike,
Buzz is gonna
why
be
don't you come back
competitive.
on- your team
We're here
sucks,
for
why
you,
don't come
Mike.
back on my podcast.
Oh, we
Yeah,
can do,
great.
we
You
can
know
do
what? Let me just
combined shows, man. We can do combined shows when we play the Heat,
Buzz,
when we
man.
play the Rockets.
For
I am
sure.
more than willing to have you guys on to talk.
Absolutely.
whatever
For
happens.
sure.
Unless the
That'd be
Bulls
awesome.
lose, I will
Hey.
not have you on though. I'm
If
just
I-
kidding. I'm kidding.
If I haven't jumped off of the nearest
be-
12-story building with the start of the
Senior,
season,
the Houston Rockets is Mike's team. Jim, you're welcome anytime talking basketball. You guys smash that like and subscribe button, man. We got so many stuff coming here on the Fitz House Sports Network, but this is one of the shows. And man, you got Buzz, Mike for the premiere episode. You were as advertised. Amazing, Buzz. You're dude.
Thank you guys.
Above
Thank
it
you
all,
guys.
you know, truthfully, awesome. Love
I
it.
appreciate you guys having me on. It was real fun, and we'll do it again during the season. Like I said, when we play the Heat, you guys come on our show. When we play the Rockets,
Perfect.
Mike, more welcome. Like it's always a fun time talking basketball with people.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good night.
Oh. Oh, it's you too, man. Thank you guys for listening. Once again, first episode of Fast Break. Much love from all of us here. We look forward to every week, not only talking Heat, talking sports, but all throughout the NBA. Take care, Miami. Have a good night.